corporation in Miami, I invented, with my team, the very first implantable external neural stimulator. This is like a pacemaker, but when you flip the switch, pain gone. And we could target from the waist down, left side of the body, right side. This was a lead, a pacemaker lead that went up into the base of the skull, right up the dura, up the spinal column. And it would pulse away and create electromagnetic interfering fields called EMF, which we now have prevalent from technology and electronics up against the side of our heads. As soon as you flip a switch on a neural stim, it's putting a dose of this static all over the outside sheath of the nerves, and it blocks communication coming out of those cells and up to the brain, which are the pain signals. Problem is, it also blocks the signals coming back. So it never heals a thing, and it is damaging if it's left on too long. So my mission is that I've been running around measuring people to see how much EMF radiation they have from all electronics, fluorescent lights, power lines, microwave towers, cell phone towers, and the phones themselves, all technology. It gives off EMF, and it sticks like static to our bodies and all of our tissues, and it is, in my opinion, hurting us. So today I have somebody here with me from the PureWaveNow.com group, and these people are out of Boynton Beach, Florida. And the reason why I have her here is because to date I have only found one company that can remove EMF, electrosmog radiation, from your body. And her name is Debbie Navik.
Hi.
There we are. And she's here to tell you what is this system, what does it do, and how does it work?
Well, the PureWave is an electromagnetic mat that removes EMFs from the body using frequencies that are closest to the Earth's frequencies. So there's a lot of electromagnetic mats out there, and what sets us apart is the fact that we do have the worldwide patent to remove the EMFs and also to protect us from future EMFs. And then we also work on a cellular level. So this is not just about increasing circulation, although we also do that. When a lot of electromagnetic mats do increase circulation, and that's always good. But if the frequency is not right, it can eventually cause side effects that could be harmful to the body.
Yes, let me interject right there. I've measured a number of these PEMF mats, pulsed electromagnetic field mats. And from what I understand, the PureWave therapy system is directly from the original founders, the creators of the technology, who discovered how the body runs from the brain with the electrical signals through the body to all the tissues and cells, and then that communication goes back to the brain. It turns out it's not electric, and they don't teach this so much in school. I went through biomed engineering. They never talked about this. It's electromagnetic. It's not electric signals. They're electromagnetic. They're like little keys cut out, and every key goes to a different lock. So what does that mean? Every cell has like an EKG that cell responds to. These are electrical waveforms. Just like the EKG on a heart, you have EKGs or electrical waveforms, and they're really electromagnetic waveforms. To all the other parts of the body, all the other organs, they all have their own specific EKG, electrical magnetic waveform. What this PureWave therapy system group out of Germany found back in the 80s and then into the 90s was that they could, by removing the EMF, electrosmog radiation from the cells, they could remove the disruption and the blockage of getting the very tiny, small intensity signals into the cell. So they're not treating the body. They're not treating the cells. Am I right?
That's correct. So they're recharging the cells so that the body can heal itself. And that is the magic of what we do. So your body is very... we were created to heal ourselves, but because of the electrosmog, our cells get all clumped up with static. And when that occurs, it disrupts the body's natural ability to heal itself.
Now, I never believed that the body was really strong enough to heal itself in a big way. But when we look back at how we all were when we were young little young children. Children heal very, very quickly from an accident or banging an arm and getting a black and blue mark bruise on the arm. Within a day, it's 75% gone, or even all the way eliminated. Their little bodies heal very rapidly. And the reason I know this is because you can actually measure their cellular voltage. Every cell in the body is like a battery, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And what is there? There's 70 trillion cells in the body. Is that right?
There is.
That's an average, yep. And then I know there is about 1 trillion different types of cells or tissues in the body, including the organs that have those electromagnetic frequencies. So the brain actually pulses every 20 milliseconds, the entire waveform, the burst of all the waveforms of every tissue in the body, 1 trillion of them. It goes zipping through the body and talks to all the cells, and those in need will chime back with an electromagnetic frequency
That's right.
Signal. They'll say, ooh, me, oh, I need something. And the brain deciphers what each area of the body needs, and that's how it does fixing. Have you heard that terminology in that way?
Yes, I have.
So
it's almost like a symphony within the body, like a harmonic symphony.
I understand. I know where you're going with this. Well, this is the curious thing. People don't learn this in school, and they really should. The brain pulses everything between 0 and 10,000 hertz. Now, that is the frequency range of sound. That's what we can hear. When we turn on our phone or music or a speaker with all sound and music is 0 to 10,000 hertz. So the brain is actually running all the signals in the body in the range of what we can hear. If we go higher, well, then we get into light. And if we go even higher than that, it's microwave, and it goes on and on. But the sound is very curious. The reason why we can't hear the brain talking to all the cells is because this company in Germany, they've discovered, improved, and showed that the frequency signals that the brain pulses every 20 milliseconds, the trillion little communicators that zip through the body, are running on 1 million times smaller. And it's actually 1 million times 1,000 times smaller. But we'll just say it's 1 million times smaller than 1 volt. Now, 1 volt will run a battery. That's a battery. That'll run a speaker, and then you can hear the sound. The reason why we can't hear our brain doing these pulses is because it's so small. So this company, they matched and mimicked all of the frequency waveforms. They own them in patents. When they discovered it, they locked it up because that is the healing aspect of how the human body works.
That's right.
Yeah, and it's not treating people, it's just clearing the EMF, the electrosmog, so now communication can go directly in a very clear, concise way. They hit it just like the brain does, all of the body cells all at once, and then the body thinks the brain is saying, open the doors. The brain just said, if I need anything, send communication. And
Absolutely, yes.
So what kind of outcomes do you see when people run a session on this peer wave? I know what I've got from me personally, but why don't we hear, you work with these people. Tell me, what do you see out there?
Well, it's really amazing because this machine works not only on people but animals as well. We see amazing results for both. A lot of times people are skeptical, and rightly so. There's a lot of machines out there. But when we actually measure them before they get on the machine, and shows how many EMFs they're surrounded by or are around them. And I believe James has one in his hand.
I run around with this meter. It's a very simple on Amazon EMF electrosmog meter. When you turn your phone on and the light's on and hold it against there, that needle goes sky high, and that's the radiation. And when we hold this against people, right up to their tissues, and put the radiation in, there's that meter's right there, right? And then I put the radiation in. Well, on me, I don't have EMF poisoning all over me, but
Because
most
you're
people
charged.
do. Yes, I use my machine for myself personally. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
And that, a lot of people don't know that they have EMFs on their body. I mean, we think of electrosmog as being something that's out there, but it's actually really all around us and even on us, and we don't even realize it. And it comes from a lot of different places. James and I had the privilege of being in the Amish community. That's my background. This last week, and we were there's been a lot of sickness and deaths lately in northern Indiana, where we were, and we just kind of wanted to find out why that was, because a lot of the Amish homes don't have a lot of technology, so the homes themselves are fairly clean. We found out when we were measured them, but what we found interesting, even from day one on the way home from the airport, was that there was a lot of EMFs coming from power lines and even microwave on top of wasn't it water towers? Yeah.
Yeah. So Debbie took me up to visit with her family. They're Amish and all their friends and the whole community. They're just wonderful, wonderful, loving people. And I wanted to measure them. I run around measuring everybody. I've been doing it for 3 years since this machine basically saved me. I was all set now. Electric scooter, ready for the wheelchair. I have my grandmother's disease with these big fibroids in the hands and feet with intense pain, incredibly horrible pain. And this machine stopped that in the very first session. And you showed me on all these people who had injuries. And these are people who are physically active all their lives, working with horses and carts and everything by hand with no electricity. And that machine that I used on me, it works on them.
Absolutely.
In one session, I got 100% pain relief, and it wasn't a Band-Aid. It was getting a little better and a little better every time I run it, and I've been using it for a long time, and it's actually starting to work on many other parts of my body as well.
And like he said, like James said, even on one session, they got cleaned off fairly quickly because of their lifestyle. So when we recharged them, we would measure them again. A lot of them went down to a quarter, and then it went down to 0. And sometimes a lot of them felt instant relief, but sometimes maybe there was like we had one gentleman who had a varicose vein that was really hurting him, and we put the pillow pad for target on his leg where that was, and it took at first when he got up, we have them walk a little bit. Because
there's a delay. There's a delay. I know. There's like a 15 or 20-minute delay. It's like all the blood and everything
or sometimes
circulating.
even an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, and it keeps going more and more and more for the next 15 minutes, and then 30 minutes after the session is done. The relief of the condition it escalates, and then from what I understand, the effects just from a 15-minute session.
Yeah, just 15
will last,
minutes.
8 to 12
hours. Yeah.
And I know why that's working. Children, when we measure their cells, we can measure them just like batteries with very expensive equipment. They run 90 to 100 millivolts in their cells. Well, when we age and we're up to, say, 40 years old, as they say over the hill, that's where people drop below the 70 millivolt threshold, and that's where you start getting cellular deregulation, dysfunction. So it's all about keeping the cells working healthy, but they need power just like batteries.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was just so exciting to see this, because while people were laying on the mats, the people that had been on the mats to start with, you'd hear all of a sudden, you'd hear, wow, I can't believe this. And they had been, off the mats for like an hour. So
it got better and better to 100% on most of them when I watched you doing this.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was really amazing.
It was amazing. And those people that tried our goggles, this is an accessory that we have, they could see clearer.
I did the goggles. I did them last year, and I only ran them once a day for 30 days for 15 or 20 minutes. And every time I took them off, it was brighter and more crisp, more than the day before. And every day was a little more and a little more and a little more. And I used the machine to actually track it and document it. And I really did go from a 250 script down to 100 and 125.
That's amazing.
And I don't wear glasses anymore. I had 3 pairs since high school: the far away glasses, the up close, and the night driving. and all of them now are eliminated. I haven't used them for over a year and a half.
Wow, that's
it
amazing.
doesn't go backwards. It's like
It really
I have to
doesn't
start
go
all over
backwards.
again for it to, start to degrade. And I just keep running this machine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even for myself, I know what you mean about it not going backwards. A couple years ago, I had been diagnosed with EMF overexposure from working in a place where we had a lot of electromagnetics, and over a period of time, the frequencies were just too high for me. I'm very sensitive to electromagnetic energy. So when James, when I found out about this unit, I was just so excited because there was nothing like it.
I measured you too.
Yes, you did.
Yes,
he
I
measured
did.
me, and it showed the EMF overexposure as other tests had previously. And when I used this unit, my kidneys started to heal. It had affected my kidneys, my liver. Everything started to heal. I never went back to the hospital. And, it's just been moving forward ever since.
Mm-hmm. So what we've got is, working at Pure Wave up in Boynton Beach, you run sessions. There's an energy center there now that's open.
Yes.
So I know that Pure Wave sells these systems to doctors, and then in areas, if you don't have a doctor who can sell it to you, then they sell to the public. Is that
Absolutely,
right?
yes. Yeah. Yes, so there are home mats.
And you give sessions, though. You actually
we do give sessions.
Run sessions
right.
now at
so
that energy center.
People can come to the energy center, and we really invite you and welcome you to come there and look at the different packages that we offer. We've got some great packages, and did I bring packages?
You've got this right here. But you run single sessions. If somebody wanted to just come in and try,
oh yeah, they could do single
$60 or
sessions.
$70 I saw was
they
on
could try it
there.
out, but once they get started, they're going to want to have a package because they're going to see what it does, and they're just going to want more and more.
How many do you need to be effective, to complete your mission? Because I know it didn't take much for me. One session was really good. I mean, really
and it
good.
depends, and it depends. So everybody's different. I never like putting anybody in a box. But what I really like about it is that we know there's going to be a great outcome. I don't usually give a time limit, but usually in 3 sessions, you will see a big difference.
That was it for me, and
Yeah.
I've seen others too when they were trying the thing out. My wife, by the way, is Tony Gorin, and she's the one who found this system. She actually worked for these people, the Germans, years ago at some of their medical conferences, and she just didn't know how good it was. We were trying everything for me and her to try to help ourselves out with our health. That we were degrading very quickly, both of us.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd be here this year, really, or last year.
I know what you
Yeah.
mean. I felt that way when I was sick with my kidneys. My parents flew down here because we didn't know if I was going to make it. I got so sick.
Yeah, and then getting away from EMF. People really
don't know.
Here are the signs of EMF poisoning. And there's PEMF mats out there that put out huge EMF. That's really how they're working, like my neural stim. This one doesn't do that. This is the exact opposite. They have to remove EMF from the whole body.
Yes.
And that happens as soon as you flip the switch. It'll suck it right off the body. And I've seen it. It goes down to 0.
And it keeps working for 8 to 12 hours after you did one session. So that's also a really great thing that people need to know, is that once the EMFs are off, it's still working. Just because the mat's not on you doesn't mean it's not still working.
Yeah, so what I've saw, though, is these other systems, the warning signs are can't sleep, anxious, aggressive, irritable. Basically, you become like a warrior when you have EMF all over you. Your cells are dysfunctioning. They're not getting communication out. They're not getting what they need in. And you're living like this with this tiny amount going on, and then it gets more and more, and it hurts you more and more. And they feel that really this is why we're seeing so much in the way of disease and problems, not just in the older people. Now it's the younger people. But I found children really are immune till about 9, 10, 12 years old. This is the wild part. When I measure them, they're on 0, even though they sit like this 24 hours a day. They could fall asleep and sleep with it all night, and they're totally resilient, immune. It's not sticking. It's like reverse magnets if your energy is above 70 millivolts. And these children are 90 to 100 millivolts when they're very young. But now I'm starting to see 10, 11, 12-year-olds. They become like old people.
I know, it's
All
scary.
of a sudden, they're
It's
dropping
very
below
scary.
70 millivolts, and that meter pins all the way to the right, full of EMF, and they're acting just like adults, all irritated and can't relax and not sleeping well.
And they're not
aches
focusing.
and pains. It all begins, the aches and pains from this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so okay, and people will go in and they'll get one session for $60 or $70, but then they have packages, I think, for three, and I saw 3, 6, and 12. And I know with 3 sessions, they'll warm up or charge up energize the whole body on the full body mat, but then they can put one of these pillow pads or goggles or this concentrated pen for teeth. I did my teeth. It really worked.
It does work.
Yeah, I've seen it work on others.
Yeah, the pen is really awesome for the teeth. Or
for me, my disease actually started to take out organs. So I have had organ failure, and one of your organs is your jaw and your teeth. So I had beautiful teeth. Look, see, and they're beautiful again, but I never lost them. It was close. And they were perfect until all of my life until everything hit all at once. And this was only 3 years ago. All of a sudden, I had periodontal disease, really severe. Within 1 year, I was all open 5 pockets. Teeth were just getting started to become loose, and infections. And then when I was doing this on my feet, I found that, oh my God, my teeth have gotten a lot better just from running the full body mat. After about 3 months, I have it in the bed. All I do is go to sleep in the bed. It goes off automatically with the timers or manually.
That's right.
I did my timers. At midnight, it would go off for 20 minutes, and then at 6 a.m., it goes off again. So I'm charged up around the clock all night, healing and deep sleep. It puts you into very deep relax, but energized. And when it's time to sleep, boy, you sleep.
You do sleep.
Yeah, that's like a big comment, isn't it?
It is. It is a big comment, and a lot of people, even just doing one session, we hear a lot of reports the next day. I haven't slept like that in a long time. I slept like a baby. It's amazing.
Yeah,
really.
Because they finally got this radiation off of their cells and all over their entire body, and now cells are functioning very well. And they say you go into, it's called parasympathetic. Okay, good. And sympathetic, that's the fight or flight warrior mode. That's what the phones make us go into. And the reason, physically or physiologically, the reason is when you talk for 5 minutes on this phone, and I've seen the studies and the pictures, all of your blood clumps up. It loses 50 to 60% of the surface area around a blood cell, and nobody really knows this, but oxygen molecules stick to the outside cell membrane, and they're all around the outside of a blood cell. Well, when they squish together, and they call it rouleau, they're like squished raisins. You lose 50 to 60% oxygen throughout your whole body.
Yes,
no wonder
you
why
do.
we're getting achy and diseased and having problems. This machine, within 1 minute, begins to separate the blood. After 5 minutes of running it, your blood remains separated. In a 15-minute session, it lasts 8 or 12 hours.
Absolutely.
And that's the magic. That's how it's working, at least in my opinion.
Yes.
And the studies I've read about it, because I'm interested. I found something that worked for me. I want to know, how did it do it?
That's exactly right.
Yes. So anyway, PureWave now. PureWave is where? 1014 Gateway Boulevard.
Yeah, Gateway Boulevard.
1014
Gateway Boulevard.
Gateway Boulevard, Boynton Beach,
Florida.
Suite 110 and 109. And what's the phone number there? It says it like on the other side there, on the other page on the bottom.
It's 561-260-1976.
There you go, purewavenow.com.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its